guys, how's it going? It's me, Yoko from Japan. Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about something a little bit more casual than usual, which is what do I think about women in general. I know it's a random topic, but I'm random Yoko, so it's okay, I guess. So before I get started, let me give you a little background so that you can understand better. So I'm Japanese. I was born and raised here in Japan, and I've lived all my life here in my mother country. I've never lived overseas, okay? And I got interested in politics in 2012, which means almost 7 years ago. And in 2017, which is 2 years ago, I got spiritually awakened. I don't know if that expression articulates it because it can cause misunderstandings. But I was the most scientific person ever, and I was also scared of all the, you know, the world that you can't see, because I didn't want the ghosts or spirits or whatsoever to see me naked or, you know, in the toilet. I didn't want them to see me. I was scared, so I didn't believe in like all the spiritual things. But I started to do all the Shinto stuff here, and then my life started to work out, which resulted in me getting married last year. Like, such a tomboy like me was able to get married last year, and especially because I was getting married, I had a chance to think about what it means to be a female and what it means to be a wife and that sort of things. How I view myself as a female, you can check out my past video on my gender story. Today, politically, I consider myself a conservative, but growing up until 2012, especially because I was studying English, I was leaning on to liberalism and all the things outside of Japan instead of cherishing and embracing what's here. So I've lived all my life here in Japan, and in order to keep up my English ability, I have to be listening to something every day. Honestly, I have no idea how many YouTube videos that I've watched. But the thing is, what you can find easily on YouTube is liberal women or girls. The tendency of them like trying to be nice to everyone and trying not to upset anybody and trying to be nice to the earth and animals, and you get the point. I'm not saying that they are bad, and I'm not saying that non-liberal people are against that, but they just tell you over and over again, like, you don't want to hear it, but you keep hearing that. Anyway, it was my routine to watch these liberal females. Like, I'm a political person, but I don't care the political thoughts, and I just wanted to learn how they live and so on, and how they can be fashionable. And also, I was for a long time a metalhead, and I used to talk to guys all the time. So even in English, my way of speaking is like, especially on chat, it's pretty manly, and I wanted to fix that, you know. I wanted to learn how women speak, so I was watching all these fashionable gals. But there's a but. I found myself being disgusted by the contents that I used to enjoy. I know you are like, what is she talking about? You know, even a life coach, I was watching this woman, I'm not gonna say who because I don't wanna, you know. There's this female life coach that I used to really love. She's in the 50s and very successful life coach. Even though she doesn't get political at all, she sometimes refers to her being a liberal gal. I didn't mind that, you know, like, I embrace all the differences. There came a point recently where I just couldn't take it anymore, and I couldn't understand it myself. Like, what's happening? Like, I don't want to see her content. Why? I stopped watching like this other woman from Australia. She's very positive, and also she's into health, and she shares her life a lot in a very detailed way. She's such a like energetic person that I really loved watching her. But then I started to feel like grossed out, and I also stopped watching that channel. Now that it's been a little while, I can kind of see what's going on. I think what's happening is that, especially recently, I got more and more calm with myself. I'm solving all the life problems, like especially mental problems, and I'm feeling more and more peaceful inside. And when I look at liberal women, I see their struggles. You know, they don't even have to talk about anything. It's expressed in the tone of their voice. It's expressed on their face. Like, you can just see it through because you've been there. You know what it's like, so you can just tell. and seeing their struggles on their face in the tone of their voice, I catch that. And that reminds me of the hard times, and as a result, when I watch their stuff, it makes me feel painful. And because I don't relate anymore, I guess that I started to feel like I don't want to watch it anymore. And at the same time, I know it's kind of mean of me to say this, but I felt disgusted like watching liberal women. And it's not that liberal women are disgusting, it's not, like, don't take it out of context. Like, something is on my radar and I just feel wrong. What is it? I was like, why is it? And then I kept wondering, and one day I came across this random video of this Christian woman. She was talking about feminine elegance, and that caught my attention. I think that's something that was on my mind for a while, like subconsciously. It was recommended for me and I watched it. When I watched her video, I was like, oh, like I can finally breathe kind of thing. And I realized in the moments that this is what I want. You know, this is the kind of stuff that I want to watch. Her YouTube name is Mrs. Midwest. Such a good, interesting channel, you know. It's meant for other women in the world that want to be there for their husband or the family, you know, like homemakers and that sort of things. And she wants to, you know, make sure that women have the choice of staying home. Women today can work among men, but some women actually don't want to choose that. Like, we want to have another option, and she talks about it often. And she also talks about femininity and what marriage is and so on, and she talks about lots of interesting things. And I'm guessing that the reason why I felt like I can finally breathe, like the fresh air, is because I have built this like female ideal inside of me which I was not really aware of. And that ideal actually came from another source of content called Netflix, which I signed up for in December because I wanted a break. And that break turned into a massive cultural learning course for me. American culture is just so interesting for me, you know, because it's so different from us. But anyway, at first on Netflix, I was enjoying like regular shows like Travelers. Oh my gosh, Travelers, such a good show. Too bad it got cancelled, but such an amazing show. And soon I came across this show called Good Witch, presented by Hallmark Channel. So by Hallmark, you kind of get the idea of what kind of direction that show is in. The show is about like the suburb area, a small town, like small community. The main character is this witch. They don't really have that aspect in the show. The main character is this attractive woman who is a mother. She's a widow, yeah, and she has a daughter. It's hard to explain what the main character is like verbally, but let's say that she's very sophisticated and mysterious, yet very mothery and loving and that sort of thing. There's this tenderness that she has. She cares so much about others like a family, and that's just such a beautiful thing. And her daughter is such a great-hearted, clever kid with good grades, and I would just say that it's pretty inspirational. When I first watched that TV show, I thought it was boring, but because I was so used to all the liberal shows where all the drama happens and people are hating on each other, like people are so mean to each other and there's always bad intentions and like you want to hate the world, like you get scared, you know, that kind of shows. And with that mindset, I watched Goodwill and I'm like, oh wait, what? Didn't happen anything in this first episode. And I was confused, but I gave it a try and watched another episode, and I noticed that it was held by a Hallmark channel. And by the way, Hallmark is so hard for me to say. I know I'm supposed to be a grown woman, but I largely get influenced by TV shows and so on. But the TV show Good Witch taught me a lot about what it's like to be a grown-up woman, you know. I think that watching that show, I kind of shaped my ideal self, right? That, oh, that's what I'm supposed to be kind of thing. And then on the top of that, I watched Mrs. Midwest content on YouTube, and she, I believe, is only 24 years old, but she's more down to earth than me, I feel. It's the Christian people, man. Christian people. Some Christian people can be a little pushy, you know, they talk about Christianity all the time. After a while it gets annoying, you know, to be honest. But there are other Christian people like her who really believe in Christianity and everything, but also understand how other people are, and they are okay with the differences in the world. Some Christian women are really attractive. It's probably not only about Christianity, but those who have some kind of faith or beliefs, those who practice religions. You know, Mrs. Midwest actually reminds me of Ivanka Trump. They have elegance and femininity and this class, you know, in common. And it is something that I have told myself over and over again, that I cannot be like that. Like, you know, even though I find them attractive, I used to distance myself. I don't know how to socialize and so on. Like, I don't know any manners, you know? I know how to be Japanese, but I don't really know the detailed version of manners in general. Also, I trained myself to talk like a guy, pose like a guy, walk like a guy, and laugh like a guy, and I only know how to be manly, so yeah. But because now I'm married, my husband can look out for me. We got married in the fall last year, and since then I'm like, okay, so I can finally become a female now. It's okay for me to be a female now, and it's been so hard to digest that somehow. But long story short, I started to be disgusted by coarse attitude. I don't know if the word is the right one. It's opposite to elegant. So it's cool that now I can be open to femininity, and I know it's gonna be a baby step, but I can learn how to be more feminine, you know, like it's okay for me to be feminine. And it's so funny when I say that, because I feel like I want to hide myself when I say that. If I become feminine, I've always felt that I will become vulnerable and guys could make fun of me and so on because I suck at being feminine and so on, and all this negative talk, you know. First of all, I became a tomboy in order to protect myself. I don't know if I covered that in another video, but I didn't want to be picked on, and I wanted to be tough, and I wanted to take care of myself, you know. I wanted to beat up boys if needed, and I also wanted to make sure that I kind of threatened boys. Even though I was a well-behaved good kid in school, I had this rah 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 kind of attitude, you know, like I didn't let anybody mess with me because I was scared. But now I'm opening my heart to femininity and see what I can find there. It's a learning experience, and it's probably different from the Western values, you know, like what's feminine here might not be feminine in your country, and that's gonna be very interesting as well. Like, you know, talking about that kind of stuff will boost up our levels in conversations, so that's exciting. But anyway, back to liberal females. They're acting tough, you know, just like I was before. The tone of their voice, as I said, even like like they speak in such a, like I'm kind of doing it right now, you know, like it's like, man, what's up, man? And I'm like, what we call jigoe in Japanese. I don't know how to say that in English. In Japanese, when I talk to my friends, I use like a manly tone of voice where like like not a feminine way. But when needed, I can speak in like a higher pitched voice. I'm gonna sound like an adult, but in English, I only know how to speak like this. And when I watch, for example, Mrs. Midwest, she comes from like, she's so angelic, you know, and maybe I should talk like, hi, I'm Yoko. I suck at it. Have you ever heard of Emily Fletcher? Diva. She owns Diva, and it's a meditation thing, so she's a meditation person. Her face is very like active, you know, like white grain and everything, and you expect like very like, you know, energetic voice coming out of that face. But when I watched her video on a self-development channel, the very first impression that I got was like, are you kidding me? Like, is this woman serious? Because she runs this meditation business, and her voice in daily life is the meditation voice, if you know what I mean. So like, she talks like, now breathing, now breathe out. And you know, that kind of talking voice, and she talks like that in real life, and I was like, what? That's crazy. That was my first impression. But as I was listening, I was like, oh, mother. Like, she's not even my mother, but it's this tenderness and this motherly tone, which is kind of related to Mrs. Midwest, for example. Just it's so calming and peaceful, and you just want to be hearing that voice for forever. Tone of voice is something that I'm really interested in, because right now I'm kind of using the alerting voice, you know, like kind of poking you with my voice because I don't want you falling asleep. So this is how I speak. But in real life though, when I listen to people, I'm pretty calm. But yeah, the tone of voice. And I think spiritual people, or especially like Christian people, they put their souls into their words. That's how I feel. Because like liberal people just talk and talk and talk and talk. But Christian people really believe in what they are saying and that sort of things. It's not that I'm making fun of them. I really feel like my heart catches that. Like, it's a heartfelt thing, that their words even can be heartful, if that makes sense. Also, the content of the things that they talk about is often appreciation and trying to look on the bright side and that sort of things, probably rooting from what they believe in spiritually. And as a result, the impression that I get from Christian people and liberal people is so much different. But yeah, liberal women are too open, I think. Like, it's not that I'm criticizing it, but what I am trying to distance myself from is their openness. You know, it's cool to have nothing to be ashamed of, and if you can be open, that's cool. That's a cool thing. But if someone exposes their whole self to you, it's like, ugh, you want to distance yourself, like, ugh, too much information. When I got politically awakened, it was the same thing, and I was listening to this lecture, and this guy was talking about how nowadays, you know, men come into labor and hold the hands of the mother pushing the baby out and so on, and it's just, you know, it's supposed to be a mystery, and it's something that unknown, you know, special magic that women turn on, and magically there's a baby. It's such a beautiful thing. But now men see all, and there's no mystery, and there's a beauty, you know, in the hidden place. But now today people want to share everything, and that kind of loses the good point. And I'm having this femininity awakening right now, and it's the same thing. What I'm learning right now is the fact that we don't have to share everything, and that this is actually what Mrs. Midwest was covering in one of her videos. I watch all her videos. So we should have secrets, we should have mysteries, because that urges your curiosity. One of the things that's problematic in this modern world is that everything is open. I'll tell you something funny. I guess you guys have it too overseas, but in Japan we have this kinky magazine that adult men read, and it's a bunch of pictures of like glamorous, like big boobs women, you know, in bikini and so on. And that sort of sexual magazines often have what we call fukurotoji, and nowadays you can't even open the book because the bookstore make it impossible for you to open like fully, but you can kind of see peeking, you know, like, not that I've done it. That sort of magazines have a section of what we call fukurotoji, and you can't open it unless you buy it. Like, let's see, there's this manga, right, and usually you can open this, right? By the way, this is about Kubo. There's a movie coming in soon. The fukurotoji is like this, and I don't know how it, like, is the size might be like here too, but like my point is that like you can't open here, right? So it's how they sell. So you want to peek in, but you can't, so but you know it's there, so you want to open, right? You want to see what's in there. So that's the curiosity the men get urged with. And because there's such a thing, men buy that magazine. Because it's mysterious, you know, there's something good inside and they want to see but they can't see. I'm brushing right now. What is this talk? I think men and women are like that. Oh yeah, winning the lottery or gambling, it's the same thing. Your prize is there. You see it. You want it. You can see that. You want it so bad, so you can't just, you want to get it, so you invest. And it's the same. In protest, I see liberal people being naked. Not just women, but also men, but they get naked, right? And usually you would feel like sexual things in there, but when they expose themselves so much, you go like, ugh. I don't want to see you. It's not that you get sexually excited and you don't want to have that accident and stay away. It's not that. You just want to like, oh, like what is this? And you don't want to see, right? People with common sense would be like that. So, and I think the reason why is because it's too much information, you know? You don't want to see everything. We are humans. Humans love imaginations. All these inventions and everything, it comes from curiosity, and curiosity comes from all this imagination. And liberalism is freeing everything. That's cool, but if you overdo it, it kills your curiosity. And I think that's very toxic for humans because we need that curiosity. But anyway, I know I'm not really good at the delivery of this video, but I just wanted to share my experience with you because this is ground shaking for me. Like, my life is about to have a dramatic change and I can sense that, so I wanted to film this. Another big thing that I am realizing is that the biggest reason why I didn't want to be feminine is because I used to believe that women are stupid. I'm such a bad person, I know, but I have to say the men do criticize women a lot. And I think I had the wrong analysis of that. You know, that men do criticize women, but I think males were only referring to the certain aspect of females, not the female themselves. Even though I was surrounded by males, I didn't really know where their words were coming from. Now, let me just say that, you know, I used to look down on women, and because I was looking down on women, I didn't want to become a woman. Because if I admitted that I am a woman, then I have to look down on myself, and I don't want to do that. And so there was this vicious cycle going on, you know. I finally am honest enough to accept what I was doing, and that is letting me open up myself as a female. It's true though that women suck at driving. I can't speak for American women. American people seem to be very logical, you know, due to the debate culture and all the cultural side of their language and so on, but Japanese women can be very slow. They talk about the things that don't really matter, and I couldn't understand the thought process of them. But women in general here are only enjoying the sharing part of conversations, that they want to share the emotions and the atmosphere, you know, and also they want to feel relieved that people are on their side, and that's their goal. They're not trying to solve problems like men do, and that's stereotypical enough, but that's really what it is. Like, we are humans, we are simple, and I just didn't like women around me, you know, especially through the lens of men. But now that I'm aware of the certain perspective that I had, like very unique, very biased way of looking at things, because I got rid of that, I finally see what's going on. It's not that female inferior to men, and we just have different roles. And yes, women can suck at certain things, but they're good at other things, and that's something that I should focus on instead of something that I don't want to become. And it's something that I've understood in my head, but I'm finally understanding with my heart. I think what I want to install in myself is a switch for me to be able to be manly sometimes and other times being feminine. Anyway, I'm gonna go now. By the time I upload this video, I hope I drew something new. I'm gonna upload that on my Etsy store, so please check it out. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will talk to you soon. Bye! So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also share with your friends and families. And of course, make sure to subscribe to this channel. And if you really liked this video, please support me on Patreon so that I can keep creating this type of free content for you. If you want to talk to me, try Twitter at Random Yoko or any other social media such as Facebook and Instagram. My artwork is available on Etsy. Have an amazing, fantastic day from me. Okay, bye.